If you've been keeping up with our channel for the past 5 years, this is going to be hard to believe, but this is the first time in 2023 that Carolyn and I have been on the Blue Ridge Parkway. And that's really saying something, considering we've made over 100 videos on the Parkway since 2017. In this video, I'm going to share some traveling tips if you're planning to visit the Blue Ridge Parkway this year. Now, we've made multiple facts videos about the Blue Ridge Parkway in Virginia and in North Carolina. If that's the kind of video you're looking for, here's a tab in the top right corner of your screen. But I'll also leave tabs that link to our other Blue Ridge Parkway Facts videos, and I'll leave links at the end of this video as well. So if you haven't already, click the like button and let's go to the mountains. How long does it take to drive the Blue Ridge Parkway? Oh, I don't know, 10 hours? Let's just call it 12 hours. Why not? Yeah, that's not happening. The Blue Ridge Parkway is 469 miles long, so I guess you could make it a 10-hour trip. Look, 15 million people visit the Blue Ridge Parkway annually. It's about a half day to a full day's drive from almost anywhere east of the Mississippi, so the Parkway is accessible and it's beautiful. I'm not saying you can't drive the Blue Ridge Parkway in a single day, but why would you want to? The speed limit is 45 miles per hour the length of the Parkway, and trust me, people drive slower. The Blue Ridge Parkway is the most scenic road in the Appalachian Mountains. No matter how hard you try, you won't be able to resist spending time on some of the most breathtaking look-offs in the country. So let's say you're wanting to drive the whole Parkway. I'd plan for at least 2 full days and 1 night. And that's if you're not planning on hiking some of the Appalachian Trail or any of the other 300 trails along the Parkway. And if you are planning to do some hiking, do yourself a favor, carve out 4 days and 3 nights out of your schedule. You'll thank me later. In fact, please thank me later. Now listen, if you don't have that kind of time to spend on the Parkway, just keep watching. There are lots of other options. What's the best part of the Blue Ridge Parkway? Well, we love all the Blue Ridge Parkway in both Virginia and in North Carolina. But sure, there are parts of the Parkway that we like more than others, and we're not crazy about a couple of stretches either. Let's say you only have 1 summer day to spend on the Parkway. In my opinion, the best stretch on the Parkway is between milepost 291 and 469. But if you're not real familiar with the Blue Ridge Parkway, let me explain that in terms you might find more familiar. Let's say you're on vacation in Gatlinburg and tomorrow is your last full day, but you've had all the peanut butter fudge and Fanny Farkley hot dogs you can handle. Here's your chance to have a wonderful time on the Parkway. Step 1, drive to Pigeon Forge Walmart and get everything you need for a complete picnic. Be careful, traffic through Gatlinburg and Pigeon Forge is terrible this time of year. You're going to need a couple of beach towels too. Step 2, go ahead and pack everything tonight and load the vehicle except for toiletries and what you're wearing. Make sure you have a change of clothes too. Step 3, before the sun comes up, be in the car with your hotel coffee to go, heading towards Cherokee, North Carolina on 441 or Newfound Gap Road. That's the only paved road that traverses the Smoky Mountains. Listen, you're going to love this drive all by itself. Trust me, it's awesome. Step 4, as you're descending into Cherokee, North Carolina, you'll see a sign for the Blue Ridge Parkway. This is the Blue Ridge Parkway's southern terminus, or milepost 469. Once you pass this sign, you're on the Blue Ridge Parkway. Enjoy. Step 5, after an entire day on the Blue Ridge Parkway, you're going to exit around Boone, North Carolina. Now, what I just described is our favorite stretch of the Blue Ridge Parkway. You're riding the spine of the Appalachian Highlands. If you stop for a picnic, play in the creeks, and stop at the amazing look-offs, this is a long but amazing day trip on the Parkway. Along this segment of the Blue Ridge Parkway, you can visit Mount Mitchell, tallest mountain in the Appalachian mountain chain. Trust me, there's a reason it's our favorite part of the Parkway. I hate barging into one of my own videos, but if you're enjoying this video on any level, I really hope you'll subscribe to our channel. Thank you for giving this video a chance, and I hope you'll leave a comment. If you're already a subscriber, welcome back. And if you could share this video or any of our videos on one of your favorite social media platforms, it would really help. Okay, let's get back to the mountains. Short trips. Most of the people Carolyn and I run into don't try to drive all the Blue Ridge Parkway in one day. They drive a section here and there. But here's an example of why that can be problematic without knowing a thing or two about the parkway. One of the problems with the trip I mentioned in the last chapter is where you exit the parkway. Boone, North Carolina is a great mountain town. But if you're in any kind of a hurry after exiting the parkway and having landed in Boone, North Carolina, well, you're still in the mountains and well over an hour away from an interstate. I'll talk more about navigating access and exit points on the parkway later in the video. But there are many exits along the Blue Ridge Parkway that are close to an interstate. For example, on that same day excursion I mentioned in the last chapter, if you were pressed for time, instead of going all the way to Boone, you could take one of the Asheville exits off the parkway. Interstate 26 is close to milepost 393.6 on the parkway, and Interstate 40 is close to milepost 384.7. The famous Vanderbilt Castle, the Biltmore Estate, is in Asheville, so this segment of the Blue Ridge Parkway is very popular. If you're trying to make sure that you have enough time on your Blue Ridge Parkway excursion, Cherokee to Asheville is a safe bet. The Virginia problem. The Blue Ridge Parkway in Virginia is amazing. If you're planning a trip to the Blue Ridge Parkway in Virginia, I'd pay close attention to this part of the video. The north end of the Blue Ridge Parkway is located at Rockfish Gap near Waynesboro, Virginia. The entrance is right off Interstate 64. For the most part, access points at the north end of the Virginia Blue Ridge Parkway are straightforward. Here are a few things to remember in Virginia and North Carolina for that matter. There's no quick venture into town off the parkway. Most of the time, it's a long curvy road going down or coming up to the parkway. If you leave the parkway for a burger or something, it's going to take a lot of your time. In Virginia, once you're off the ridge line, it's beautiful farm country, the Shenandoah Valley. So most of the time, there isn't a lot to choose from on the way to Interstate 81. Interstate 81 runs parallel to the Blue Ridge Parkway, but even here, getting to Interstate 81 from the parkway can take up to an hour depending on where you're exiting the parkway. And then there's Roanoke. Look, Roanoke's a pretty cool town. We've even made a couple of videos in Roanoke. And yes, I have friends that live in Roanoke. But for whatever reason, Roanoke has an enormous internet footprint pertaining to the Blue Ridge Parkway, and it really shouldn't. From milepost 106 to milepost 135, you don't even feel like you're on the parkway. It's also easy to get distracted and end up in downtown Roanoke. Driving through Roanoke to access the Blue Ridge Parkway off Interstate 81 is a long drive, and traffic can be a nightmare. Making matters more complicated, let's say you enter Virginia Blue Ridge Parkway into a Google search. Several Roanoke tourist websites pop up, and that confuses a lot of people. However, hats off to the person who runs these websites. I'm not saying this to be mean, but this area is probably the least significant section of the entire 469-mile parkway, so don't get caught in that trap. The easiest place to access the Blue Ridge Parkway in Virginia is at the north entrance at Rockfish Gap, milepost 0. It's literally just off Interstate 64, in just a few minutes from Interstate 81. From Rockfish Gap, Jefferson's Monticello is a quick drive towards Charlottesville. If you stay on the parkway going north, you can access Virginia Skyline Drive, which is like the Blue Ridge Parkway, but you have to pay for it. Moving on. On rare occasions, we use this app, BlueRidgeParkway.org. We've never used it to its fullest capabilities, and we always regret it. Go ahead, download this app. I use their interactive map the most. Here's an example of what I was talking about in a previous chapter when it comes to knowing where you're going to exit. Notice this area right here, south of Galax, Virginia, all the way to this area in North Carolina. On this map, it may look like these interstates are just down the road, but they're not. It can take as long as a couple of hours to get to an interstate from the Blue Ridge Parkway in this area. This is a great app to gain more information about the section of the parkway you're exploring. I've exchanged emails with their staff a couple of years ago, and they're extremely nice. I've left links in the description. Keep in mind, cell service isn't reliable on the parkway. In fact, I would just turn your ringer off and not worry about it. But you can download these maps. I recommend familiarizing yourself with the maps before you go. But through this map, you can navigate to the National Park Service Road Closures website. Obviously, the app isn't necessary to access the National Park Service Road Closure website. But what I like about using this app is that it helps to remind me to check for closures. I'm not a conspiracy theorist, at least not on YouTube. But when I search for a Blue Ridge Parkway access point and my map app gives me a location 30 miles away when I know there is one close to where I'm at, I'm convinced they're plotting against me, whoever they are. For whatever reason, when you're searching for a Blue Ridge Parkway access point on your smart device, and it doesn't matter what the device you're using, you don't always get the closest point. In fact, it might take you to an entrance point 50 miles away. We verified this with several other people. I can't find any information as to why this happens. If you know, tell us in the comments. It would really help. And it's this situation that inspired the video you're watching now. Now here on the map, you can see that there are 5 different access points to the Blue Ridge Parkway, but both of our apps were taking us to this access point. Now Carolyn and I are used to this, so it wasn't that big of a deal. We worked it out. But when we first started going to the Parkway in Virginia, this was a real headache. Day trips or afternoon excursions to the Blue Ridge Parkway are easier than you think if you realize how close you may be to an access point. And this isn't something that's well advertised, but it's another reason why the app is a good idea. Wow, I am so over on time. I'm going to have to make a part 2. Listen, your comments are so important. I want to hear what you have to say. So please leave a comment. Tell me what I got wrong or what you enjoyed. Here are some of the videos I mentioned at the beginning of this video, and I want to thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button. My name is Bill Marion, and this is A Nose for Life.